Hey, so welcome back. I have to apologize. It's been quite a while since I've done a video. I was gonna try and get Gail into this one, but it it just hasn't worked with her schedules and I actually feel like putting a video out and all that. So I'm just gonna do it by myself, which is fine. I just wanted him to be on it because this next process that I'm gonna talk about, we kind of like went through it together and both were working on it. But if he has anything to say about it, he'll probably update you in his next video that he does. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the process that we have been going through to get our residency. I know that in the last video that I did, we weren't even gonna, we didn't feel that this new visa process was it really pertained to us. However, we were talking a little bit more after that, and we decided that it was, like he said in his last video, that we were going to go forward and do this new process, or do the old process, which, so for the Friendly Nations visa, and granted there are other visas that you can get to go into Panama, but this is the one that is the best one to go for us, for working wise and all of that, because well, I may be working in Panama. So just so you know, there are other visas out there to get, but we're gonna do the Friendly Nations one, which I said they changed the rules on it starting in the middle of August. So we're trying to get we're trying to get all this done before August, which is before we even go to Panama. So you're all probably thinking that we're crazy, and I know Gail just mentioned the other day that someone else or two other people said that he was crazy for doing this, and I asked him if he was keeping tally on how many people have told him that. Because we are actually right there with you. We're getting a permanent visa to a country we've actually never been to before. So yeah, it's crazy to us too. But we're doing it. So first, I'm just gonna go over a little bit of what we needed. So for this Friendly Nations visa, you know, there are the different countries that are allowed. The U.S. is one of them. And you need to prove economic solvency. And so, yeah, there's like a whole bunch of steps. So I'm going to kind of go through the steps that we have done so far, and then up until we go down to Panama to finish all the other requirements. So first step is to get a lawyer, and we really didn't look a lot into lawyers down there because there was one that was like highly recommended, and I'm actually glad that we went with them because we're like, well, let's just bite the cost of it because we wanted to get this done, and they have been nothing but helpful and answering our questions within a day, sometimes the same day. I'll get a response back. I just received an email, I think it was like yesterday, from Maria. She was kind of biting my butt about getting one of the forms filled out or completed. I had started it, but I needed to get some information yet before I completed it. So we're going with Kramer and Kramer. So yeah, I will put the link down below, and I would recommend them to anyone. So our step one was to apply for a corporation. Now for this, you need to do this before you can apply for the actual residency. And so we kind of talked about it, Gail and I, because we're possibly gonna use it for other things. We kind of talked about maybe possibly using it in the future to keeping the corporation. And so we did 50-50. We put our both cells 50-50. If you don't do this, it won't apply to, so I need to sign up so I'm signing up as the main applicant, and then Gail's gonna be the person under me. And you should still do it 50-50, because that way that 50, that other, I can't think of the word of it, the person under you, they won't be able to prove that economic solvency. And this is that one way that we are going to prove that. So if we didn't do the 50-50, then Gail wouldn't be able to prove that. So that's what we heard. So we're just like, do 50-50. And as I talk, I know this is more for family and friends, but if you're watching this and you're going through the process or thinking of going through the process, I know it's late in the process. However, I would start it now, and I'll give you a few tips and tricks along the way that we ran into. So if you're going through the process or thinking about it, those might apply to you. And start this as soon as you get your lawyer, because it takes 2 weeks in order for them to process all of the corporation stuff. So we got that all done, and it's been, I think, probably 3 weeks now that has been completed. So then we just needed to gather some of our information. But you don't want to do this too far in advance, because, this really doesn't matter, because it's not more than 6 months, because some of the documents are only good for 6 months or so. But so the first two things would be your IDs, your passport and your license. So like I said before, Gail was waiting on his passport and I was waiting on my license, because they were being renewed. Now Gail got his passport and he was super excited. He comes into my room when I'm working. He's like jumping up and down. He's like, guess what? I got my passport. And I'm like, oh, good for you. Get out. No, that actually didn't happen. But so he got his passport, and about, I want to say like a week later, I got my license. So that's all good. We could fill out a few other forms since we got those. And then the next thing, 5 passport photos. We still need to get those. I'm hoping that we do it this weekend, because it's one of those things that's like super simple to do. We can just go down to Walgreens and get it like within 15 minutes and you're done. But I feel like it's one of those things that, yeah, super easy. However, on the plane to Panama, and oops, we forgot to do that. So I don't want that happening. So I'm hoping to do it this weekend. And then FBI background check. So we need to, just kind of read my notes a little bit here. So we needed to get our fingerprints done for this FBI background check. And the one place we found, we could do it in town here. And after doing a lot of research, I felt like I did a lot of research on this, but we did it in town. And then, and we were actually, we did it the day before I left for my backpacking trip, which was a Sunday. And they were open because it was like at the adult center, the work center or something. And the lady was super nice, and it was just super easy to do. I thought that was going to be crazy. We had to go up to the cities to do it, but we didn't. Got it done in town and on a Sunday night, nonetheless. And so, yeah, so then after that, we needed to send it in to, I think it was to the cities or something, so we needed that, and then we needed the FBI background check. So those are two separate things. You need your fingerprints and then FBI background check. And so with the FBI background check, we had to send it in, you know, fill out the information, send it in, and then when Gail sent it in, he had a question of whether we should send it in together. It's the same things. It's going to be sent to, you know, going to the same place. And I'm like, well, I don't know. That's kind of on you. So he did send it in together, and his came back. Mine didn't come back until like a couple days later, which were like, I'm like, oh my God, I have to go through all of that again, getting the fingerprints and then sending it in, and yeah. So, but we got all that, and then we had to, and then there was like an email that they had sent you in the very beginning that you had to keep, and I had saved it. I saved all of this stuff in a folder, so I have it saved in there. But I'm like, oh, usually stuff I need to keep, I keep it in my inbox. So I had to go back and look at that. Yeah, so then we need to send that, the FBI background checks, and the fingerprints. And so we had to get the fingerprints notarized. And so, and then the following weekend, we were going up to my grandparents' cabin. And so I'm like, well, on the way up there, we both had that Friday off. So on the way up there, let's just stop at my bank and get my bank reference letter and get these notarized at the same time. After that, you need to send the fingerprints and then the Gail, since he was under me, he needed our marriage license certificate, and those need to be authenticated by the Panamanian consulate. Usually people send it to DC. However, we've heard that they are out like a few months, so that wasn't going to be an option because of our time frame. So we had sent them to the consulate, the Panamanian consulate in LA, in California. So, and then when we sent them, Gail had sent a personal check, and apparently they don't take personal checks. So we waited about a week, and we called them back, and they were like, oh yeah, you know, we remember. They actually got it like the next day, and we actually don't take personal checks, so we ended up having to transfer money to them instead. So we got all that squared away. So they got it, they're working on it, and then they're gonna send it straight to the lawyers down in Panama. So yeah. And then we had like I said, we have to open a bank account down there. So that's what I need that bank reference letter for. And then we need the last 3 bank statements, and then proof of income, which you could either do income tax, your last 2 income taxes, or proof of employment. So we just did the income tax way. And so, yeah, that's the process that we've gone through. It's it's crazy. We just booked the flights so now we have to go down there for 2 weeks, go to the bank, open the bank account, and then go to the lawyers and meet with them and go to the immigration office and get the residency, the permanent, the visa. And so, yeah, we just booked the flights and the hotel for that. So in about 2 weeks, we're going to be going down there to complete all those steps. So, yeah, so that's pretty much what we've been doing. This weekend is the 4th, so we have lots to do yet. So I will see you next time.